Morning, guys. This is Rover Dude, and welcome to the beautiful town of Naples, Florida. This is my commute to work, so I thought I'd bring you guys along just to see my journeys. I did post prior to this the video of my Freelander, which I'm currently working on. I appreciate any comments or suggestions once I start working on her. Well, actually, I did start working on her. As you can see, I pretty much put one of the heads on, or had put one of the heads on when I took that particular video. And I was working on the, at the same time, on other little things such as the suspension. Trying to see if I can somehow put a lift on it. It's very difficult finding lift options for that car, but I know there's some out there. There's these spacers that you can use, and you put on the top of the towers. So I'm going to try to track those down, but that's quite a task, because you have to basically take the front suspension apart. Well, in any case, if you do it on any kind of lift, but on the driver's side front for that car, you do have to mess with the box that holds the computers for the engine management and the transmission. So that's something I gotta look at, take some time to do. If you see my wipers turn on every once in a while, it's just that I get like a buildup of like a dew, like a little film. So I want you guys to be able to kind of see a little clearer. All right. So in case you see that. So anyway, going back to the lift. Yeah, that's going to be a project in itself. I've got to take a lot of stuff apart for that to happen. But my main concern now is to get it running. I did last night finish putting on the other head, and I started to bolt the exhaust manifolds. So I'm going to take a quick video of that, and so you guys can see my progress there. And then I'm going to go over the timing a little bit, because the timing on those cars is crucial. If you get that timing wrong, you're gonna cause all kinds of damage. As I mentioned, you're gonna get bent valves, and you can damage the camshafts. I mean, all kinds of stuff, the pistons. So it is very critical you do get that timing right. I've been working with cars since I was about maybe 7 years old. My dad was a very good mechanic, and I basically, he kind of taught me everything I know, and with him I rebuilt quite a few cars. I rebuilt mainly Trans Ams. I've had about 6 of them, and I've rebuilt them from scratch, put them together. I wish I still had some of the ones that I did, but unfortunately, you know how life is. You turn around and sell stuff. But there's other cars we worked on, pickup trucks, vans, and we did engines, transmissions. I mean, it's funny because there was one time it was raining a lot here in Florida, and we didn't have anywhere to really rebuild the transmission. So my dad's like, okay, let's bring it inside the house and we'll do it on the dinner table. So yeah, we even did that. We rebuilt the transmission on the dinner table, which my stepmom was not very keen on, but you know, we got it done, and it was actually a job we were doing for somebody, so that's why we had to do it in that manner and that fast, because I think it was going in the next day or something like that. So yeah, unfortunately we had to do it on the dinner table, and there wasn't too many happy faces on that. So that's one of the experiences I remember, among other stuff. And he actually even worked on motorhomes too. So I have experience there. I actually rebuilt one, the interior and the engine, and did some of the suspension work on it too. And turned around and sold it, of course. But this is all leading to my suggestion that unless you're mechanically inclined or somewhat knowledgeable, I would not take this task on, because you can cause a lot of damage unknowingly. It's very simple. It's very easy to bend the valves on these things. I mean, the timing is like unbelievably crucial. There's a kit that I bought because I was actually trying to do it without the kit, but it was like almost impossible. So there's a kit you can buy online, and it's a timing kit for KV6 engine, and they're relatively cheap. There's several. Some are color-coded orange and some are color-coded blue, but just make sure you buy the one for the KV6 engine. And the description you'll see there for the 2005, I think it's from 2002 to 2005 Freelander, and it's going to bring in there the pins that you need. There's a type of, it looks like a wrench, which you're also going to need to hold the gears in place. But I do have to go over something with the wrenches. I had to actually modify mine a little bit, because again, it's like, made in China and it's cheap, so it's not going to be perfect, or it's not going to fit exactly. So yes, you may need to do a little bit of modification to it. So that's why I'm saying that you need to be a little bit more experienced as far as mechanics, because you're gonna have to give a little bit. And I actually modified two pieces in that kit. Now that I think about it, there's a there's a part that goes on one end of the heads that has it sort of looks like a pin, and it has a bracket that holds into the gears. And again, I'm gonna videotape that. I'm gonna take video of that and show you the pin itself. It's a very large pin, and the little it looks like a little clamp that goes on one end, but it has actually two small pins on it, and that goes into one gear and into the other gear. But if I explain to you now, you're gonna be like, oh my god, what is he talking about? But when I take video of it, you'll understand what I'm saying, and I'll explain it to you again. But that kit is very important. Without that kit, you're not going to do this job. It's like, forget it. Because what happens is the camshafts, the way they sit in the heads, as soon as you adjust the back and you go to try to tighten it, it's going to flip. It's going to move on you. And the same for the front. As soon as you try to tighten the front bolts on the gears, it's going to move, and it's a pain. And then on the engine side, on the bottom end, there's a pin that goes in the back plate, and it goes through the flywheel, and that holds the crankshaft pulley in position, in timing position. And that again is crucial too. But there's a trick to it, that the crankshaft pulley timing mark, it doesn't exactly sit perfect. Not with it, the mark to the groove. It sits at kind of like maybe 1/8 of an inch to the left. And this was kind of odd. I tried every which way to get it to align perfectly, but no way. I mean, either it was off about 1/4 of an inch, or it was right on the money, but just 1/8 to the left. 1/8 of an inch to the left of the mark. So I have a friend of mine that works at a dealer, and I got him to send me some technical data on that. And what it is on the actual technical data diagram, it shows that it's off maybe 1/8 of an inch. So yeah, I was right. I was like, okay, so then I'm not going crazy here. And when you set that timing mark, that's when you put your pin in. It has two ways you can put that pin in. Like I mentioned before, when you turn the crank, it'll be off about 1/4 of an inch. That's wrong. You have to turn it another 180 degrees, and then have someone, if you have two people, it's a lot easier. Someone at the bottom end, just not pushing on the pin hard, but just kind of giving a little bit of a nudge as you turn the crank. And you'll notice that when you get like 1/8 of an inch past the mark, the pin goes right in. And then you leave that there while you're working on the car, while you're doing the timing. Now you got to remember to take that pin off when you're done, because if not, yeah, it's not going to be good. You're going to cause a hell of a lot of damage in there. Alright? And they are hardened steel. They're very hard, those pins. So you're going to tear up a lot of stuff, and my goodness, I think you would have to even take the transmission off to fix that, because you may cause damage to the flywheel, and not only that, bend that pin in there, and then I don't know how you're going to take that thing out. But anyway, that's something to try to remember. When you're buttoning everything up, go back down there, take the pin out. I would probably even, this sounds crazy, maybe even write a little note or something to yourself and put it on the front end of the car, just to remember, take the pin out, or else you're gonna be sorry. So those are the 2-3 little things that come with that kit, that are gonna help you set that timing. I did have to also buy another kit for the valves, because there's not anything you're gonna be able to get from like a Discount Auto or Advanced Auto Parts, like a tool to use there. They don't have anything like that. The kits that they have for removing the valve springs on your heads are basically like under and over kits, where they're like for Chevy valves that are kind of sticking out. These springs and valves, they sit inside the head in like a little tunnel. So you're gonna have to get a kit that it has like these tube-looking little things, and when you put you attach it to the bracket and you screw it in, it pushes the valve in, and it holds the valve on the back end. The spring pushes the spring in, and holds the valve on the back end. Again, I'm gonna show you a view of that, what the kit looks like, so you can order that too if you're gonna go to that extent to change the valves, because I did. I put new valves, springs, guides, seals, everything in these heads. And again, that's not an easy task if you've never done it before. I would seriously consider it. It's not just a job that anybody can do that's trying to work on their car. And the springs are dangerous. If you don't do it right, it can pop out and hit you in the eye or cause some kind of damage. And you got to remember the little clips that hold the springs in. Those things are so tiny. They're microscopic in these cars. And they take 2 to each spring. Spring. So you got to keep an eye on those things, you don't lose them. They do sell those separate. You can buy them on eBay. You can also buy the springs, the valves, everything on eBay. And they're actually a really good price. Now, the valves that I bought the higher end ones, the steel valves, and you do have to seat them. And what do I mean by seating them? Is you have to get valve grinding compound, and when you put the valve into the head, there's these little suction cup things that you can buy, and you just have to turn them and turn them and turn them, so the valve seat grinds to the same as the valve itself, or the valve grinds to the same as the valve seat. So that way you get a good seal. If you can't just slap them on, put them on, because unfortunately the machining is different on all these things. So you do have to make sure the valve is seating properly on the valve seat on the head. And again, I'm going to go over that. I may have some pictures that I can put as to showing on the valve seats and the valve heads, because I think it's too late now to take video of that, because I actually put the heads on. So I'll try to find as much information as I can on that to put it in. Basically, that's about it for now. And again, I'm going to take a little bit of video on that so I can show you guys. I think the main thing that you have to worry about is the timing. Because as I mentioned, the timing is crucial on these things. So I can't emphasize that enough. Once you get that timing right, you're all set. It's just a matter of basically bolting everything back together. Well, while you do have it apart, I'm going to also point to several different things you want to change while you have it apart, which is a lot easier. The thermostat on these cars, it's right at the top end of the engine in the center, and there's a plastic tube that goes across it and goes into another section. You want to change that too, or because they kind of start to like rot, and they kind of fall apart on you. So you don't want that to happen after you've done all this work. Have to take the intake manifold off again, just so you can reach that thing and switch it out. So you may as well do it while you have it apart, and that way you won't have to worry about it for a long time. Because again, this thing is from 2005, and we're now in 2018, and that's when it started leaking. So once you change this thing out, you pretty much don't have to worry about it anymore, unless you keep the car that long. But yeah, so that's one of the things you want to change out. And of course, get a new timing belt. You don't want to put the old one back on if you don't have to. Put a new timing belt on this thing. And the little belts that go around the rear end of the heads, around the camshafts, you want to put that all new. Why? Because I mean, you're doing this, you may as well do it all. You don't want to put old belts back on and then again a month from now have the belt fail on you or slip a tooth and you just bent some valves. That's how critical the timing is on these things. So yeah, very important. You may as well change all these things while you can. And I'm just going to go over the list one more time. The thermostat, there's a thermostat tube that goes out of the thermostat and goes across the manifold to the other side. The timing belts, the main timing belt in the front, and the smaller timing belts at the back end of the heads, where the gears are. You may as well just change all that out. One shot, you're done, good to go. And basically, that's about it for now. I'm actually almost to work, and I have actually some other things we're going to be doing to the other Discovery that I have today. It's got a problem with the windshield, so a couple guys are coming out. They're going to switch out the windshield, the front cowl that sits under the windshield, that goes attached to the wipers. the two outside plastic sections around the windshield. Those are going to be switched out, because actually the guy that did it before for safety auto glass kind of messed everything up. The windshield was not put on properly. It was leaking inside. He actually broke that cowl piece that goes in front bottom of the windshield. Kind of covers where the windshield wipers are. He broke that, and apparently he did not attach correctly the plastic pieces that go on the sides of the window of the mirror. Well, not mirror, but the window itself. So, I mean, they're going to do quite a bit of things. They're supposed to be coming by today between 8 and 12. So let's see how that works out. Oh, and another thing. Over the weekend, I was checking I actually tried to open the hood to see if I can check some of the fluids and things of that nature. And thank God I did. As I went to open the hood, the cable snapped. And the cable did not snap, of course, on the interior next to my leg. No. It snapped under the hood at the clamp itself. Not cool. Oh my gosh, what an ordeal to take that thing and open it up. And I'm going to actually take some video of that for you guys, because there's nothing online as how to do that. It has a plastic cover, and that cover, I had to basically cut it open, cut it off, so that I can reach the little hook. It's like a little clamp looking thing, and pull that to open the hood. I mean, to take the cover off was a task in itself. There's no other way you're going to do this if this happens to you. So I may do a video on that by itself for the Discovery, just to give a heads up to people on how to do it. So I basically made myself a pull, I guess you would call it a pull handle, to the front of the Discovery, just so I can get that done with these guys. Because what's going to happen is when they go to replace that window, they're going to need to actually move the hood forward so they can get to the cowl, the plastic cowl piece under, like where the windshield wipers are. So that was a must do. I had to do that. It took me a while again, as I was saying, to cut that plastic cover piece off, but I got it done. And again, I'm going to take a short video and show you guys what I had to do to get to that clamp. And then I just basically cut the section of the housing. I shortened that, and I put a handle on it with a wire so that I could pull open the hood. Again, that's just temporary because I needed to do it because these guys were coming. I am going to replace the wire and put it factory back up to where the driver's side interior is. Well, I'm basically here at work. I'm going through the parking lot now. So I appreciate you guys listening to my rant. This is my first YouTube videos that I'm posting, and I hope I'm entertaining and you guys like what I'm doing. I plan to do some more, so you may hear more from me. I'm not going away. So basically, this is Rover Dude thanking you very much for listening to my my instructional videos. They're not the best, but hey, they help out. If there's something you guys want to know about, leave me a comment in reference to, it could be over the Discovery or the Freelander. I'd feel free to do a video on what you guys are looking for. And as I go on with these two projects of mine, I will keep making more videos and more and more of my rants. And I'm pretty sure you guys are going to enjoy that. Alright? So again, this is Rover Dude. I appreciate you guys. And I'm out.